First, you will sign in. Let the volunteer coordinator or site lead know that you have arrived. If you haven't already been assigned a track, now is when you will be assigned. Be sure you're comfortable with the assignment you received and speak to the volunteer coordinator or site lead if you have any concerns. Your safety is a priority for us.
Teams will be made up of 2 to 4 members and should be teams from the same organization or household. There are 3 positions: lead, counter, and lookout. Smaller teams may have to serve in 2 roles. One lead. This may be the driver or navigator. They ensure that the observations and surveys are completed and submitted, and everyone on the team returns to the deployment center together. They will be the point of contact for the team. 1 or 2 counters. This is the team member who conducts the survey and records the data on the mobile app. At least one person in the team will need to download the app to their smartphone. More info on that in a few minutes. 1 or 2 lookouts. This person will look for individuals that appear to be homeless to encounter. They will keep a watchful eye on the area for anything that may look or feel unsafe. They will also help the counter distribute incentives to the individuals that complete surveys.
Each team will self-select which team member will fulfill each of these roles. It's best if at least 2 members of the team have the mobile application downloaded and have fully charged phones. Remember, the role of a census volunteer is to conduct the count and survey. Please do not advocate on any cause or position on any issue not directly relevant to this goal.
Before you leave to conduct the count and survey, the volunteer coordinator or site lead will give a brief refresher of how to record your observations and will provide any last minute information that is needed to have a successful count. This will include a reminder of safety protocols and use of forms and or electronic tally methods. Before you leave your site, be sure you have all your materials and the emergency contact phone numbers of your site leads. Emergency contact phone numbers and safety precautions can be located on your safety protocol guide. Each person in your group should have their own copy of this tool.
Each team will receive a census tract map. Before you leave your site, review the area you will be canvassing. There is a key on the bottom right-hand side to show what each of the colors and symbols on each map represents. The area you need to count is outlined in red or pink. Stay within the lines. If the red line is a street, count the individuals on the street inside the red lines, as the street on the outside of the line is generally the next tract to be counted. This is important so that we don't duplicate the actual number of individuals we count and survey. Drive or walk down every street. Look for individuals that appear to be homeless on both sides of the street unless it's a tract border. Look for open areas. You may need to use a flashlight in these areas during dawn and dusk. Mark the map for every street and open area you've covered so you don't count it twice. Walk or drive all the streets and alleyways in your census area, including going behind buildings and through parking lots. Please avoid going into channels, tunnels, grates, and storm drains. All of these are marked on your maps. Abandoned buildings and warehouses should also be avoided. You may also avoid any gated communities. When you see people who appear to be homeless, your team will determine if it is safe to approach the individual or group of people. Before proceeding into an area, look for police activity, gang or other street activities, dark or secluded areas, locations with only one route for entry and exit, or stray dogs. Leave these areas immediately and enter an observation if it's appropriate. When you've identified a potential candidate to conduct a survey, ensure it is safe to approach the individual. Remember to check for traffic when you exit the vehicle or cross streets. Greet them and inform them that you are conducting a count and simple survey of individuals who may be living unsheltered in our community. For example, you might say, "We are volunteers taking a count and simple survey of individuals experiencing homelessness to help identify and gain understanding of needs for more funding and services." Be polite, but not overly aggressive, and ask if you can have a few moments of their time to conduct a brief survey with them. If they report that they slept in a shelter or in a motel, hotel, or home, thank them for their time and let them know that if they were in these places, they have already been counted. If they slept in a home or hotel paid for by someone else, they are not included in this particular survey. For those who slept unsheltered, conduct the survey. Then thank them for their time and offer them an incentive item that was given to you by your deployment captain. If the group decides it is not safe to approach the individual, you will enter an observation on the app. Here are some safety tips to remember. There will be law enforcement patrolling during the counts. In case of emergency, deal with the emergency first. This may mean calling 911, AAA, or other support systems. Then contact your site leads to let them know what is going on and what is needed. Stay with your team. If you need a bathroom break, please stop together to ensure your team's safety. If you don't feel well, please call the site leads. We can send someone to pick up your materials and take over where you stopped. Do not venture into abandoned buildings, tunnels, or other unsafe areas. We have trained outreach teams that will canvass the tunnels and washes. Be cautious when approaching occupied vehicles. Do not knock on windows or try to open doors. In commercial or industrial areas, ask security guards or others on site for help with finding individuals who may be homeless and residing on their property. Your team is encouraged to go into some of the smaller local casinos, community centers, and restaurants where homeless individuals are known to seek respite from the weather. Ask security guards or managers to help you identify those individuals who may be appropriate to complete a survey. Remember to seek permission and assistance from property managers or security during these encounters. For parks, try to canvass the entire drivable area and walk a few feet apart from each other to sweep walking areas. Ensure you are able to maintain line of sight with one another. Remember to check in bathrooms and on walking trails that may be easily accessed. Do not go anywhere that would cause you to lose sight of your partners or would be difficult to navigate or access. Use common sense and keep your group safe. Be aware when going into encampments. Remember that you are entering someone's home environment. Please be respectful. Don't wake people up if they are sleeping. This may make people feel uncomfortable and more vulnerable. Announce your approach so you can easily be heard and understood. Do not peek into tents looking for people. Assume that individuals are sleeping in these tents and record the number of tents you can observe. Be aware of your body language and keep an open body posture. Keep your hands visible and give plenty of personal space to others. Be mindful of other people's personal space requirements. What feels like appropriate conversational distance to you may be too close for someone else's comfort. Never turn your back on anyone you encounter and don't corner someone. Position yourself so both you and the other person have an escape route if needed. Don't be too forward or demonstrate haste while approaching anyone, as you may create a hostile situation. Use common sense. If your team encounters any situation that makes you uncomfortable or is potentially dangerous, leave the area immediately. Signal your team it's not safe by saying, "Wrap it up." Immediately go back to the car or other pre-identified location and leave the area. Make note of the area location on your map when it's safe to do so. When you are out of the dangerous area, notify your deployment center. In case of emergency, follow the safety guidelines provided to you at deployment. If you are unable to talk but are able to text, please text the words, "Wrap it up," to your site lead to signal to them that you are distressed and need support. Remember, the emergency code phrase is, "Wrap it up." When any member of the team mentions, "Wrap it up," all team members should evacuate the area immediately without hesitation. Regroup away from the potential danger and if necessary, call the deployment center or 911. Here are some keys to success to make your census experience a positive one. Manage your time well. Focus on counting, not talking to people. While it's fun to get to know the people in your group, stay focused on your task at hand. It is also tempting to engage with the individuals you count on the street and offer them services. Please be aware that our role is to count and that other teams will be engaging with individuals on the streets and offering a full range of supportive services. Cover your entire area. If you think you may run out of time, call the site leads as soon as possible to let them know you may need help. They may be able to deploy additional volunteers to ensure that all tracks are canvassed. Complete all information requested in the mobile app. Even if all your numbers are zeros, that's valid. Be sure to submit all surveys and observations in your app by clearing out the draft or outbox folder. Turn your maps into your deployment captains so they know you've completely canvassed your assigned tracks. All information gathered is confidential. Please do not reveal any location information to anyone not associated with this project. Personal information such as name, birth dates, etc. is not asked for during the survey. However, you will be asking about behaviors such as drug use. If any is shared, please be sensitive and try to stick to completing the count without offering any advice or suggestions. Be respectful of others, including your team members. Be non-judgmental and avoid making assumptions or generalizations. Please do not use your affiliation with this project as a means of promoting another cause or issue. Don't offer any personal information about yourself or your team members, and do not ask for personal information that is not on the survey tool. Do not take pictures or video with a camera or camera phone. While you may check in at your deployment location, please refrain from posting locations or checking in on social media once you've been deployed. Finally, please do not take personal calls while in the field unless it's an emergency. Thank you for watching this video to learn how to conduct the Southern Nevada Homeless Count and Survey. If you have additional questions, please review the frequently asked question sheet on helphopehome.org/homeless-census or email your questions to helphopehome@clarkcountynv.gov with the subject line Census. Thank you again for your commitment to supporting our community.